work here, journalist, and used to doing things not to present. Yeah, that's true. So we have our speakers, which are Slobodan Georgiev, who was just here. We have Dr. George Zogopoulos, who is a journalist and an academic. We have Mr. Robert Doro, who is an experienced journalist based in Athens from Albania. I'm Kostas Tsitzidis, I'm a journalist from Insider.gr, and I write about Greek and international finance. We'll start, I would say we'll start a little bit with an introduction from Dr. Zogopoulos about the Greek media landscape, and have a discussion with all the participants.
Thank you very much for the invitation. I think it's a very good initiative to bring journalists together and discuss about the future. Although the theme of our discussion is related to cooperation among different media organizations, I believe that without clarifying the media landscape of different countries, it's impossible to find common ground in order to proceed. And therefore, I want to make a few introductory observations about the media landscape in Greece. And in doing so, I want to say that the beginning of the economic crisis in 2009 was a turning point for the Greek economy and also for the Greek media landscape. And since 2009, I will not dramatize the situation. I try to follow the path of realism and present things as they are. We are observing in Greece closure of various media organizations. Unfortunately, I have the negative privilege to have worked in two newspapers which were closed down during the crisis. The first 2009, a historical daily newspaper, Apollo, and another one in 2010. Since 2009, we're also observing the reduction of salaries for many journalists here in Greece, also the loss of jobs for others, and many delays in the payments for the majority of journalists working in media organizations, either TV or print or radio. More importantly, we are observing that banks have faced serious difficulties, especially since 2015, to finance media organizations, and also state-owned enterprises are giving less adverse to the media themselves. And regarding the media coverage itself, while before 2009 we had experienced a coverage which had been synthesized around political ideologies of the center-left and the center-right, since the beginning of the crisis there is a different discourse, which I would say it could be described as being in favor or against the bailout, the rescue package which has started to be given to Greece since 2010. Now, within this negative media environment, the Greek government in 2013, at that time of the Conservatives and the center-left PASOK party, had to deal with the transition from the terrestrial period to the digital one. And in 2013, the government decided to make and to consider the operation of various TV channels in Greece legal, although these TV channels had operated for 2 decades with provisionary licenses. And in order to facilitate the transition to the digital period, there was only one platform which could guarantee the digital signal in Greece, which is called Aegea, in which the main shareholders were owners of the basic TV channels in Greece. In 2015, another turning point for the Greek media landscape, the leftist party is coming to power, has an agenda to break the triangle of corruption, as they used to call it, which is the cooperation between politicians, media, and the banks. They were saying so in order to satisfy public opinion and also keep corruption and tax evasion. But what happened in Greece is quite interesting because while the leftist government was, as a matter of principle, right in what it wanted to achieve, the way it acted was completely incorrect and completely illegal. So they decided to and organize a tender for giving TV licenses in Greece without respecting the law. I'm not a lawyer, but you don't have a lawyer. You don't have to be a lawyer in order to understand that the tender, which was organized by the government, would be considered as unconstitutional by the Council of the State. The reason is that according to the Greek constitution, it's only the National Board of TV and Radio which should organize that kind of tenders. But in the case of Greece, the Greek government proceeded without respecting that and with granting the responsibility to the Minister of Communication and the Media himself, who preferred to do it alone instead of waiting for the National Board of TV and Radio to be organized. Also, it was quite interesting in Greece that according to a study which had been conducted by the European Institute in Florence, there were only 4 TV licenses which could be given by this tender. This is a finding which has and can be challenged because the data which are provided in this study do not necessarily reflect the needs of the media landscape in Greece. So what happened was that the tender was normally organized, there were 4 TV licenses given, and then the Council of State said that the tender was unconstitutional. So what's happening in Greece? We're waiting now in order for a new tender to be organized by the National Board of TV and Radio. We do not know when this will happen, and it is quite striking that this government managed to completely fail, although it had been right as a matter of principle in order to change the media landscape in Greece. Just a few points about the way journalists are working in the country. It is important to say that some journalists have suffered not only by cuts in salaries and by delays in the payments. There are some threats also because of the rise of the Golden Dawn in Greece. What's happening is that Golden Dawn sometimes calls and threatens journalists working in newspapers when they publish stories that are not of interest and do not support, of course, the neo-Nazi party. And also, it is interesting to say that Greece has constituted a new model, in my opinion, regarding political communication, because we tend to say, according to the literature, that the media, on the basis of agenda setting, tend to influence people what to think about. Sometimes can persuade them as well towards a specific direction. Now, because of the lack of trust of the media, what is happening is that the establishment media are suggesting the people what to do, and the majority of people are doing exactly the opposite due to this lack of trust which is existing in Greece. About international cooperation, I should say that although I believe that some of the media characteristics in Greece are different, especially during the crisis, we can find common ground. And also it is important that during the Greek crisis, we have seen here in Greece so many international journalists covering the topic. And although this is, of course, a negative development because this was due to the crisis, not to positive stories, and this is what I have explored in my book. So many Greek journalists have attempted to establish contacts with international news organizations and be paid or to cooperate with them in order to cover the crisis. This was mainly an issue during the first 3 or 4 years of the crisis, not any longer, because now the Greek crisis is considered a passé affair for the national media. Nevertheless, it is important that this has happened. And also regarding international cooperation, events like the one organized together, and for which I congratulate the organizers, can give an opportunity to establish contacts, and Greek journalists themselves have been engaged in various initiatives, especially regarding Greek-German cooperation during the crisis. So we have observed various workshops to be organized either by Deutsche Welle or by German foundations in Greece, like Konrad Adenauer Stiftung or Friedrich Ebert Stiftung, for example. We have seen also the Süddeutsche Gesellschaft from Munich to organize that kind of events, in which Greek journalists are discussing with German journalists about the future of Europe, and this is important because during our crisis here in Greece, a media stereotype about the role of Germany in Europe and about the responsibility of Greece for the European debt crisis was on the forefront. And last but not least, because we are talking about the Balkans, I should say that I was involved in international project which aimed at bringing together journalists from young journalists from Kosovo and Serbia to Athens. This happened in 2012 in order to facilitate contacts between them. It was a good initiative as a matter of principle, but unfortunately, although we indeed managed to bring them to Athens and lock them in a room in order to facilitate discussion among them, after their departure, after the organization of the event, there was not real room for cooperation between them, and this was an important lesson on how media editors can possibly affect the work of young journalists. I hope that during the discussion we'll have more time for debate about this. This was just an introduction in order for us to facilitate the debates to follow. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zogopoulos. Let's go now to Robert. Robert, you're a foreign journalist working here in Greece. What's your view on your experience all these years?
Okay, thank you. I apologize, but I feel more comfort if I speak in Greece, and Mike here help me to translate. Εγώ έχω νιώσει ωραία από την πρώτη στιγμή που ήρθα στην Ελλάδα το 1993. Ήρθα σαν ανταποκριτής της Ανατολικής Υπηρεσίας του BBC, το οποίο είχε μεγάλο όνομα στην Ελλάδα.
I felt very well since 1993 when he came to Greece as a foreign correspondent for the BBC service here from Albania.
BBC Albania service. Ήταν εποχή που ήταν και πόλεμος στην πρώην Ιουγκοσλαβία και στην Αθήνα είχαν πέσει όλοι οι αναποκριτές των μεγάλων εφημερίδων.
And it was the historical era where there was the Yugoslav war and all the foreign correspondents were in Athens.
Γενικά, σε όλα αυτά τα χρόνια δεν έχω αντιμετωπίσει κάποιο ιδιαίτερο πρόβλημα.
In all these years, he's never faced any specific problems in regards to journalism in Greece.
Παραδόξως, δουλεύοντας για αλβανικά μίδια στην Αθήνα, τώρα τελευταία προβλήματα έχω με τους συναδέλφους στην Αλβανία.
The opposite is true right now, which is quite paradoxical, that he's facing problems right now from Albania when actually discussing things with journalists there.
Μεταξύ της Ελλάδας και της Αλβανίας υπάρχουν διάφορα ανοιχτά προβλήματα που ειδικά η αλβανική πλευρά τα απασχολούν πάρα πολύ.
Between Greece and Albania, there are various issues which mostly the Albanian side tends to focus on and blow up.
Ένα από αυτά είναι η συμφωνία για τον καθορισμό των θαλάσσιων ζωνών, η οποία υπογράφηκε αλλά μετά απορρίφθηκε από την Ευρωπαϊκή Δικασία της Αλβανίας.
One of the main issues is basically the Territorial Waters Act, which was first agreed upon in Albania, but was then overturned in the Albanian constitution. Economic exclusive zone.
Both.
Both.
Okay. Αυτό είναι ένα πολύ ευαίσθητο θέμα για την ευρωπαϊκή κοινή γνώμη που χωρίς να υπάρχει ιδιαίτερος λόγος σηκώθηκε πάρα πολύ στην ατζέντα.
This is a very sensitive issue for the public opinion in Albania, which has happened without any specific reason and has heightened basically its importance in the public agenda in Albania.
Έκανα αυτή την εισαγωγή για να φέρω ένα παράδειγμα που αποδεικνύει αυτό που σας είπα, ότι το μεγαλύτερο πρόβλημα έχουμε τους συναδέλφους επάνω.
This introduction was an example of the problems faced when collaborating with Albanian journalists from me.
Εχθές ένα πολύ γνωστό αλβανικό site δημοσίευσε μια είδηση με έναν τίτλο ότι η Ελλάδα αρπάζει τη θάλασσα της Αλβανίας.
Yesterday, a very well-known website, e-news website in Albania, had a title saying that Greece is actually grabbing Albanian territorial waters.
Ήταν μια μικρή είδηση σχετικά με την υπογραφή των συμβάσεων για υδρογονάνθρακες στο Ιόνιο και στην Πελοπόννησο, αν το έχει υπόψη για Έλληνες δημοσιογράφοι.
It was a small, not really newsworthy item in regards to basically research for hydrocarbons, various other minerals and gases in the Ionian Sea.
Η ελληνική κυβέρνηση προανήγγειλε ότι πολύ σύντομα θα δώσει μια ζώνη, ένα μπλοκ στην Κέρκυρα.
The Greek government also said that it would be making available one of the blocks near Kerkira for exploitation there and research.
Η Κέρκυρα είναι απέναντι από την Αλβανία και ανάμεσα στην Κέρκυρα και τους Αγίους Αράνες είναι αυτό το σημείο της τριβής.
Kerkira is right opposite Albania, and this is a point of friction between Albania and Greece and between the Albanian coastline and Kerkira.
Στην πραγματικότητα, ο Έλληνας υπουργός είπε ότι θα δώσουμε τη ζώνη 2 δυτικά της Κέρκυρας, που σημαίνει ότι είναι απέναντι από την Ιταλία.
What actually happened was that the Greek minister said that they would give the zone 2, which is a zone west of Kerkira, which is on the other side of where Kerkira is towards Albania.
Αλλά το site στην Αλβανία έγραψε ότι θα δώσει ότι βρίσκεται ανατολικά στην Κέρκυρα και είναι απέναντι στην Αλβανία.
But what the news site actually reported was that it was to the east, making it in the exact zone where there's a problem between Kerkira and Albania.
Εγώ τώρα έπρεπε από την πλευρά μου, για χάρη της πραγματικότητας και της αλήθειας, αν και η δικαστή την είδε στην Μεγάλη πολύ κόρη, όπως ήταν, έπρεπε να ξαναγράψω κάτι άλλο.
So that meant that even though he had actually reported the news as it was, there had to be a correction and a restatement basically of the news in regards to what had actually happened.
Και λίγο νευριασμένος, στο τέλος πρόσθεσα δύο φράσεις όπου έλεγα ότι όπως έχει αναφερθεί πάρα πολλές φορές και στον αλβανικό και στον ελληνικό τύπο, καμία από τις δύο πλευρές δεν ήταν εκτός διαφορετικά. Κανένας ξένος επενδυτής δεν πάει στη συγκεκριμένη περιοχή εφόσον παραμένει το context.
And he also stated basically at the end that no foreign investors would actually be interested in the zone while there's a territorial conflict between the two countries.
Δηλαδή αυτό είναι ένα παράδειγμα που αποδεικνύει πόσο δύσκολο είναι να κάνεις τη δουλειά του ανταποκριτή, είτε ανταποκριτής ελληνικού μέσου στην Αλβανία, είτε ανταποκριτής αλβανικού μέσου στην Ελλάδα, τη στιγμή που υπάρχουν αυτές οι τριβές και τη στιγμή που και η κοινή γνώμη των χωρών, εικονικά κατά την άποψή μου, εμφανίζεται, αλληλοεμφανίζονται αρνητικά ο ένας απέναντι στον άλλο.
This is an example of the problems faced by foreign correspondents in the Balkans in general, especially when the two countries involved have issues and the public opinion is fictitiously shown to have problems with each other. So the main news is that there's conflict between which you have to follow the foreign correspondent.
Στην πραγματικότητα δεν πιστεύω ότι οι Έλληνες και οι Αλβανοί έχουν μια έχθρα μεταξύ τους. Δεν πιστεύω γιατί, όπως ξέρετε, οι Έλληνες που είστε εδώ στην Αλβανία, στην Ελλάδα, εργάζονται πάνω από 600.000 Αλβανοί και στην Αλβανία, όπου πας στα αλβανικά μαγαζιά, ακούς παντού ελληνικά τραγούδια και αν τύχει ένας Έλληνας να πάει και στο βορρά της Αλβανίας, μόλις μάθουν ότι είναι Έλληνας, θα κάνουν το τραπέζι.
In reality, this animosity doesn't really exist because there are more than 600,000 Albanians working in Greece, and if you go to Albania, you actually hear people speaking Greek, and especially to the north of Albania, people are very friendly and neighborly towards Greece.
Δυστυχώς οι δημοσιογράφοι αντί να προωθούν αυτά τα βιώματα, ας το πω έτσι, επιμένουν περισσότερο σε αυτά που πάλι εικονικά, επιμένουν εικονικά, δημιουργούν μια τεχνική ένταση, η οποία ένταση μετά εμποδίσει τις κυβερνήσεις, την καλή θέληση των κυβερνήσεων, αν την έχουν, για να επιλύσουν κάποια θέματα.
However, journalists tend not to focus on these because they're not very interesting news, but they tend to focus on the fictitious animosity between the two people, which then creates further problems towards the two nations and the governments which are then trying to correspond with each other.
very much, Robert. Now, Slobodan. Hi. Well, you have your representative of Balkan Investigative Reporting Network. I will ask you to say some things, and mostly I will stay in the investigative part, which is, the most dangerous journalism that you can do. And the network part, the Balkan network part, and how Berlin has collaborated, has journalists collaborating from different countries. Thank you very much.
Okay. Hello to everyone, and thank you to the organizers for this possibility to speak in front of Balkan Investigative Reporting Network. It's that's a huge organization throughout the Balkans. You can see this is our major outlet. It's in English, and when you see it's focused on the whole region. You have separate pages on every country, and you have special pages on topics that we actually saw as the most important in terms of regional meaning. And when you ask me about the collaboration between the journalists, our organization is based on collaboration because we have journalists in Serbia, Macedonia, Kosovo, Albania, Bosnia, correspondents from Croatia, from Romania, and Bulgaria. And in this program, fellowship program from last year, we also have journalists from Greece. So we are really a regional-oriented organization, and the whole effort, the whole product is actually regional. And the result is from that collaboration between different local news organizations. Of course, BIRN is let's call it watchdog news organization, organized like NGO. We are actually operating like NGO in all these respective countries. The money is coming from outside, from different sources, from different donors. The biggest donor is I think a Swedish the development agency and European Commission. We apply for this money every year, and it depends on that. We are dependent on that. How much money we actually collect, it reflects on our work, and it actually forces us to do different projects. In Serbia, we have our own website in Serbian. I don't think that it's useful for you to show that. And there we actually publish our investigative pieces. We don't have a big team. We are only 4 or 5 of us, and we have some correspondents throughout Serbia, which are helping us to do our stories. And we actually, let's say, become important in the last couple of years because the media landscape has been changed in Serbia, because this government, led by Progressive Party, they were in the past radicals, nationalists, now they are progressives, and they say they are pro-Europeans, actually took control over the mainstream media. So the space for some other voice, the space for the critical voice was very, very vast, and nobody actually, in first 2 or 3 years during this new government, actually the media was stuck. They were just, let's see what they will do. And I don't know, we had a feeling that nothing actually will happen in terms of reforming the country. They reformed their party by saying, now we are not pro-Russia, we are pro-EU, we're gonna take Serbia towards EU, but in all internal things, they are similar to something in Turkey. It is not like in Turkey, because still we don't have, nobody has been killed no journalist has been arrested. We had some, cases in front of courts because of some offensive words towards some politicians and things like that. But people are not arrested; they are not killed, and I cannot say it's the same situation. But if you compare it with the countries of EU, I don't think that the level of media freedoms is on that, let's say, appropriate level. Some of my colleagues from Serbia will tell, listen, man, that was all the same, and it was the same thing before this government. The pattern has been established. The guys from the ruling party, by controlling the media buying agency, actually they are controlling the money on the market. Some of presentations here were actually focused on a free market. I think the major problem here, when I say here, I think on Balkans is because we don't have free market. We don't have real businesses. We don't have people who are ready to invest in something like real news, or to invest in investigative journalism, because they are afraid. They don't want to help to us or other organizations that deal with investigative journalism, because they think, this is something against the government. So if I help something that is against the government, I will not be able to run my business in a way I want to do that. So it's easy for them to just follow the things according to government policies and not interfere, And that's why actually we are focused on the money and the donor money from the outside. And that's why we were presented in the mainstream media and in the tabloids as foreign agents, spies. I'm several times, showed in the tabloids, this man is not a journalist, he's actually working for MI6, because he's paid from UK, blah, blah, blah. And, it is actually funny, because all these stories we've heard during the 90s, during the Milosevic regime, and we thought that, that time has passed, and that's it, we will never be in the similar situation. But now we are in the similar situation. And this guy who actually 2 days from now will become a president of Serbia, Vučić, now he's still, prime minister. He was a minister in Vučić government during the 90s and during the bombing. And when we talk about censorship in Serbia, the only one formal censor in recent Serbian history was Vučić, because during his mandate as a minister, he was a censor. Because they established censorship during the bombing and afterwards. And it was real. Yeah, and it was real censorship, because all the content produced and published in the media first was shown to him. And if he allows to be public, it is. And now he doesn't do that formally. But, behind the scene, it is happening. For example, this antenna, which has the owner here in Greece, this guy, Theodor Kyriakou, I think that's his name. They actually sacked B92, which was real info news channel. Why they did that? Because they were like, we don't need any quarrels with the government, and they transformed the info channel into infotainment channel. And B92 was a symbol of free media, not only in Serbia, but in the Balkans during the 90s, Now it's infotainment channel, with any serious program, with any serious content. Our colleagues that actually established first investigative reporting format in Serbian media called Insider, actually were also moved from that TV channel, and now they operate online as an, let's say, independent news organization. That they are actually trying, like we in BIRN, to survive by applying for the money all around the world, asking different organizations for help and support. And that's why I just wanted to stress several things that were mentioned during this conference today. For example, that ideal of free media. I think we should all be careful when we use it. Or if maybe we can say we all want to have free media. It's something that we want to be. But in reality, of course, it's I'm not sure whether is it possible to establish it in a proper way. When you see the way of how the things are functioning, how the politics is involved, or how the businesses are involved, and I think that the biggest problem for the media is not the way they will collaborate. Shall I call you and ask you for a favor, or shall we do some project together? We can do that, and I think it's the easiest part. I think the main problem is sustainability of all these kind of organizations, and not only this watchdog news organization like Birmis, but the mainstream media also. Because I believe that media without proper proper news is not media. It's just entertainment plus PR, public relations. And that's how they operate. And on the other hand, I think that the second big problem is social media, because social media will actually, I think, become something like now it looks like news landfill. Everyone can publish whatever he wants. Without any source, without any credible source, without responsibility, without anything. You can use hate speech. You can do whatever you want. And how can you fight that? How can you say don't follow your Facebook timeline? Come to my webpage and read the problems. That's why I think that we people from the media should be concentrated on and focused on production of media content. What we are guys who are producing media content, and where it's going to be published. I think it's not so relevant and important in this context of social media. For example, in Serbia, 70% of all internet users are on Facebook. So they read just the stuff from the Facebook. I think that there is no possibility to establish new, page and to attract people to have it as a first page on their browser, which is, the best thing you can do for your outlet. When they open the browser, to have your page there, and then to pick up everything they need, and then go forward. That's it for the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we'll open the floor to questions. Do you have any questions?
I would like to say that the example that Mr. Goro used was a perfect example of fake news. I was traveling to West Balkans for 3 years, and what I saw is that the agenda of the news in each country is different. And somehow I could say that it was manipulated. Let's say some interests on the politics from other countries, they choose topics that the public opinion they are interesting, and they are sensitive, I would say more, and they focus on this issue. For example, what you have said about the conflict between Albania and Greece. Nobody knows in Greece about this conflict. Nobody. But in Albania, the public opinion, everybody knows that. because the public opinion is very sensitive about that. There are also some other issues in the Greek news that they are on the topic, but they are not interested at all in the other neighborhood countries. So I think always the special interests coming from business or usually from other countries, because Balkans is somehow a field of Cold War still, somehow we could say that. There is a conflict of powers. We could say, maybe Russia wants to infect on our area, maybe United States, and there is a conflict of powers. So that's why maybe we have such kind of things happening even today. And I think that journalists like you, they should cooperate and find a way to aware the people that we could do things and take, let's say, building news and institutions that they will change the public opinion and take the fake news. And okay, this is it.
I think so. Just if I just may, because you inspired me, I wanted to say something. In the media business, it's pretty much important thing, engagement of different communities. And when you have that situation that everything can be a news, everyone can be a media, or everyone can be actually a journalist. It's not easy. I don't know. If we can imagine, if every house is producing a bread, who's going to go to the bakery, and ask for bread? And that's the situation we have now. So we have to redefine the role of the media within society. Maybe society do not need media as we know it right now.
I must say that there is bread that you can eat, good bread, bad bread, and bread that can kill you. If you eat it, and it's very, very bad.
Just a general remark in relation to your question. Apart from the responsibility of journalists themselves, it is the responsibility of Facebook, Twitter, and other social media to counter fake news. So journalists themselves cannot do a lot. It is what these social media will do in order to provide counter content and in order to upload and use softwares which can counter the fake news. So it's an institutional issue and it requires institutional cooperation between Facebook, Twitter, and media organizations at the same time. So journalists themselves can do something, but the room for real action is little in comparison to what Facebook and Twitter in cooperation with news agencies can do together.
Also, you can σε αυτό που είπατε έχετε απόλυτο δίκιο. Το τι μπορεί να κάνουν οι δημοσιογράφοι. Δυστυχώς πιστεύω ότι είναι ένα χαμένο παιχνίδι το οποίο έχει καθεί εδώ και χρόνια στα Βαλκάνια όσον αφορά τους δημοσιογράφους.
In regards to journalists, you're absolutely right, but I think that this is a lost game and it's been lost for a number of years now in the Balkans.
Και ειδικά με την κρίση που περνάει και η Ελλάδα, αν υποθέσουμε ότι στην Ελλάδα ήσαν τα πιο ισχυρά μίδια από οικονομικής άποψης, αυτό γίνεται εντελώς ουτοπία, γιατί τουλάχιστον στη χώρα μου τα μίδια είναι εξαρτημένα, από τη μία είναι εξαρτημένα από την κυβέρνηση, αυτό που είπε ο καθηγητής από Άγκυρα, ότι από τη μία τους κρατάει τις χρηματοδοτήσεις και από την άλλη μπορεί να τους κάνει ποινικοποίηση φορολογική.
And if you consider that in the Greek crisis, Greece used to have the most powerful and fiscal sound media, after the crisis this is no longer the case, And in Albania right now, is like the Professor Provider said, that the government is actually pulling the strings in regards to fiscal issues and
Στην Αλβανία υπάρχουν 13 ημερήσιες εφημερίδες, υπάρχουν 5 κανάλια εθνικής εμβέλεια, υπάρχουν 5 ενημερωτικά κανάλια και όλη η πίτα της διαφήμισης στον χρόνο είναι 20 εκατομμύρια ευρώ.
in Albania there are 13 daily newspapers,
5 commercial TVs, 5 news TVs.
and 5 news TVs, and the advertising budget annually is 20 million for
Σε τέτοιες συνθήκες εννοείται ότι κανένας ιδιοκτήτης, κανένας αρχισυντάκτης δεν θα κάτσει να νοιαστεί το πώς να δημιουργήσει ένα θετικό κλίμα για το γείτονα και πώς να κάτσουν οι δημοσιογράφοι από τις δύο πλευρές και να λύσουν αυτά τα προβλήματα. Βλέπω ότι δυστυχώς έχει χαθεί το παιχνίδι.
in such climates, no investors and no editors in chief will actually sit down and talk about the positive climate between two different countries, especially when they're thinking about how to just make money.
Βέβαια το ότι έχει χαθεί το παιχνίδι δεν σημαίνει ότι δεν μπορεί κάποιος έστω και μόνος του να κάνει προσπάθειες, να κάνει καλά τη δουλειά του. Δηλαδή να μεταφέρει τα γεγονότα, ένας δημοσιογράφος που γράφει για κάτι που είναι στην Αλβανία, να γράψει έτσι όπως είναι, ένας Αλβανός να κάνει το ίδιο, ένας Σέρβος το ίδιο και ούτω καθεξής.
The fact that this is a lost game does not mean that individually a journalist can't do his job properly and he can report the news from here to Albania properly or Serbia or wherever and sit down and just do his job properly.
Okay, next question.
I'm Jean-Baptiste Ferrand from France, and I'm glad that Mr. Goro talked about ownership of media and financing them, because I think what you said, Mr. Georgiev, is touching exactly one of the main sources of the problem. It's not just about censorship or government. Even in my country, in France, we have a serious problem about media ownership. And yes, it does have an influence on what is being told in the media, period. And you talked about, the publicity market, which is funding media in Albania, everywhere in the world, obviously. There must be a reflection, there is a necessary reflection, in my opinion, in all countries, not just in the Balkans, but obviously even more in the Balkans, which is, as we said, a relatively small market, so it's difficult to make money for media organization. The link between businesses, basically shareholders, whichever they are, public, private, NGOs even, like in your case, this is a serious problem. I mean, how do you make this barrier, this filter between the shareholder boardroom and the editing rooms? Isn't that the actual real problem?
If I maybe just two things to say. Editorial independence is the basic for journalism. That's it. As you said, period. If you do not have editorial independence, you cannot be a real news organization. That's it. Because like in medicine, journalism is based on ethics. That's it. So some things you cannot do, and some things you always have to do as a journalist. And it is connected to the ethics and ethical code of journalism. So the most important thing is for the journalists and for the editorials to show that they are capable to be at the same level, at the same range of power with those who actually decide. Without that, you're just, a media employee. Not, for the state of power, blah, blah, blah. You're just, media employee and that's it. Is it what?
Is it real or is it an illusion?
Media is a fourth power. Yeah.
Well, that's
I
a
think-
rhetorical question, not something that we can actually answer. So, one last question, please, and we'll wrap it up.
I already had possession of the mic, so I'll just ask. The thing is, this is going to be controversial, right? Because we have journalists here who just. I loved how you talked about ethics and how you said we should report the facts, and that's a good start, right? And then you just said that the press is the fourth power, and I don't see how this is legitimate because I never agreed to the press being the fourth power. So before you say that I have no skin in the game. I do. So sometimes you fall victim of false reporting, and people are ready to put you up because they think that you are a villain or whatever, and that's due to bad reporting. But I didn't care all that much because I never thought that the press had this institutional, authority that made all the that. I didn't mean to. I never thought that journalists are duty bound to always tell the truth. Simply because it's very difficult. You have your own biases, you have your own views, your own opinions. It's not that easy to always be perfect. So the fact that journalists love this institutional cloak, fourth power, I think led to the demise of mainstream journalism. Because this cool guy comes on Facebook and says, "Oh, I know best. I'm this cool guy who talks to people. I'm not one of these guys, the fourth power." The authority of those guys, and I'll tell you the truth. Do you think that this, I agree, controversial view has any merit?
No, I can agree with you. I can agree with you. I didn't want to say that we have to be as a journalist and media organization, real fourth power. It is something that it's important. If you want to represent the voice, of some other people, you have to be strong, you have to be on that level. If you're weaker than those who are deciding about the future of your country, there is no way that you can affect anything. And if you cannot affect policies by your work, you're not important. You're just for fun and for entertainment. That's why it's important, to have ethics, to be strong, to have professional standards,
But
and,
actually,
and,
failing
and,
to live
and,
up to
and
that
to
standard.
make, and
That's
to
the
make powerful, actually, to be a little bit scared from you, to be scared from you, I think it's important.
Yes, my question was failing to live up to that standard. Then, was it the kind of thing, or part of the reason why people turn to Facebook and crooks and imposters and all these populists? Because these standards are very, very high. The standards you're setting now are very high. I don't know if any journalist can actually be that good. Oh, no offense, I'm sure you
Yeah,
are.
so, okay.
But it's difficult. It's extremely difficult.
Well,
Actually, just not really. A lot of people are now in nowadays do not go to the doctors. They just check on a Google, and they think that that's the cure for them. So I think that's it. If you want to find out what is happening on your just reading the Facebook, is the same thing as you try to find a cure on a Google.
okay, if there is, okay, well, we must wrap it up. Thank you very much for your time. And thank you very much our esteemed speakers. And thank you all.
Okay, this wraps up the panels. A few things. First of all, there is going to be a dinner afterwards. So anyone who actually wants to come with us, basically we're going to the hotel where our foreign guests are. It's the Aegean Hotel, and it's going to be at 8 o'clock. So I suggest you come with us for a coffee or a beer there, and then you can all come and join us at the restaurant, where you're all welcome, and it's very stimulating. Finishing this, I would like to say, basically, it's been an honor to host these guests. I would profoundly like to thank our guests from Turkey that were unbelievably inspirational. friend from Serbia as well, and Albania, and all the other countries. Our friends from Thessaloniki that made the trip to come over and talk to us. And our friend from Canada that actually made the longest trip. This, I think, has been a first step in a very important dialogue and a series of issues that we have to do. One of the very positive issues is that we've actually started discussing the next steps already, and we hope you'll join us in dinner so you can actually meet these people at an even better level and have a very stimulating dialogue. Thank you very much.